Okay, folks, I have you guys moved over to the island. Right now on the stove, I have that broth on low starting to thaw out. I don't want to bring it to a boil. I just want to get it melted because I'm sure I'm going to have to add more water to it and maybe season it some more, taste it, see if it needs some salt and things. Remember the water that I had over in the microwave? I had 1/3 cup of very, very hot water. I think I had it in there for 3 minutes. And I had 1/3 cup of shortening in that, and it melted. And that's what we wanted. Now I've got it setting in this bowl, but it is way too hot. Okay, we have to let this cool. It can be warm, but you don't want it to be hot because we're working with an egg and, it won't hurt the flour, but we don't want to curdle our egg. So when this gets cool, we'll get started on the dumplings. So I just wanted to let you know where we're at. We'll be right back. Okay, folks, that water is still too hot. So I'm just waiting for it to cool off a little bit more. But I thought I'd bring you over here to show you this pot on the stove I have. I put that chicken broth that was frozen and I let it thaw completely on the stove on a low temperature. And I would estimate there was about 4 cups. Well, we need more than 4 cups of liquid to cook, to drop our dumplings in. So I added enough water in this pot. I would say about another 4 cups if I had to guess. And even though it's already seasoned, because I added more water, I took some of this, it's a dry base. And I just used 2 large, I guess you would just call this like a regular serving tablespoon. And I put it in there. And, I don't want this boiling yet. I'm just letting it slowly come up to temperature. And I don't want it to reduce down. So I've got the lid on it. And as soon as I can get that water to cool off a little bit more, we'll be ready to start making the dumplings. So we'll be back. Okay, folks, it should be cool enough. It's starting to look like it's a metal bowl. And I noticed that the shortening was starting to adhere to the sides of the pan, even though the water feels still pretty warm. I think it's warm enough that I can add the egg. So we'll put the egg in. We'll put the salt in. About a teaspoon of salt. I'm just taking a big blending fork. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to add some flour. But we want to sift it in. Okay, there's a cup. Here's my sifter. I'm just going to put it right over the bowl and dump it in. Okay, we're going to do another cup. Right into the sifter. Okay, 1 more cup for a total of 3 cups. Remember, this is just all-purpose flour. If you wonder why I do that, is the flour gets trapped up here. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of flour here because I'm going to use this. I cleaned it ahead of time. And now we're stirring this in to form a dough, a ball. Okay, now it's still plenty wet, as you can see. So I'm going to add, I don't want to add too much. I'm going to do a fourth. See how a fourth does. Alright, I'll stir that in. Okay, I think it needs a little bit more. See, it's still very sticky. It's better to do it this way instead of putting too much in. Okay, I'm going to say that's probably going to be just about right. Try the spoon, might be a little easier. See, it's coming together. It's less sticky. I'm just going to take my hand. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit more in there. It's just kind of a feel that you get. You don't want it to be too sticky, but you don't want it to be too dry either. Okay. Alright, now I've got a nice little dough ball here. Take some of this flour. Just sprinkle it on the surface here. Just take my hands. My hands are clean. I took my rings off. Okay, we'll take this dough, scrape it out. Get some flour on your hands. Let me get my little scraper here. Put a little more flour down wherever you think it might be sticking. And we're just going to kind of roll it. See how I'm rolling it? And I'm trying to make sure that it's no longer real sticky. Wherever it seems like it's wet, put some more flour down. When you can see it's no longer like sticking to your hands and see it's pliable, then you know that you're getting where you need to be. See, it still feels a little bit wet to my hands when I touch it. So I'll just keep putting some flour down. And I'm kind of doing like kneading at the same time. I don't know how else to really explain it except for it's a feel that you get with the dough in your hands. I'm making sure my, don't worry about the extra flour because actually that's good. Because you'll see with a lot of dough, which you know what I might do is I'm not going to roll all this out at once. I'm going to cut this dough probably in half. Because that flour is your friend when it comes to making dumplings. That also will help your, I'm just going to put this, I'm setting this over here to the side for a minute. I'm just going to work with the smaller piece right here right now. The extra flour when you go to dump your dumplings in the broth helps as a thickener. It makes a really nice thick broth. Okay, I think this is pretty good dough to work with. Alright, more flour. Okay. Now, get your rolling pin. I'm going to start rolling this out. I'm trying to give myself some space here to work this dough. You want to roll it out as thin as you can get. That one rolled up on itself. It doesn't really matter, but okay. Now, I should have gotten myself a platter. Let me reach over here and grab a platter. It doesn't matter how you cut them. You can cut them into strips. You can cut them into squares. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, let me get a cookie sheet. I'm just going to put them on, I'm going to cut them and put them across here. The cookie pan, cookie sheet. And of course, this is on my island, so I'm not going to cut hard because I don't want to make marks. See how I'm just cutting like strips? I'm not pressing really hard. Okay, now we'll go this way. I wanted to make longer strips. I can make them longer. Okay, I'm just going to lay them crossed here. You know, you could also do a little flour across here if you're worried about them sticking. Put a little bit of flour down there. Hold on, let me check my broth over here. It's already coming to a simmer over there, almost to a boil. It's best to go ahead and get the other one rolled out and get them put on a pan like this, so that way all you got to do is start dropping them when the water's ready. I think this is the most time-consuming part right here. This here's probably like the size Michael likes right here. Okay, so as you see what I'm doing right here, I'm sure y'all don't want to watch me do this part. I'm going to get the other one rolled out and cut up and get another pan and do it just like this. I will get you all set back up over there and you can watch me drop them, okay? We'll be back. Okay, everyone. My broth over here was at a rolling boil earlier when I had the lid on, even though I had it turned down low. So I did take it off the stove until I got all of my dumplings rolled out and cut. Now we don't want to start adding them until this becomes a rolling boil again. And then, as you'll see me doing, I'll start dropping them in. You never want to stir them because that will make your dumplings fall apart. We don't want them to fall apart. And I'll add some, and you'll see me kind of just jiggle. You know, you got to be careful, you know. And then let it come to a boil some more and keep adding them until you get them all added. Then we'll put the lid on it, and then we're going to, I'll probably, you know, turn it down some because we don't want it to overboil. And, you know, after we get them all in, and I'm going to let them cook for about 10 minutes. So, let me turn this heat up. I can turn it up. But like I said, I've got to really keep an eye on it because I don't want to, you know, overboil and make a mess at the same time. Okay, it's just starting to really boil. It shouldn't take long. My stove is so finicky though. I really have to keep an eye on it. It's hard, it seems like it's hard to control the temperature on this stove. Okay, we're getting a good boil here. Excuse me, especially here in the middle. So I'm going to start dropping them. And, you know, in different spots, not all in one spot. And like I said, shake it a little bit. And you'll know when they're just about done because they'll start to float. I almost thought maybe I might have had too much. I thought about saving half of that and wrapping it, you know, and freezing it. But Michael sure loves his dumplings, so if I can get them all in here, I'll probably put them all in here. And if I do end up having too much, I can still, you know, take and I can freeze these in a single layer. And once you freeze them, you can take them out and put them in a bag. You might be able to see them now. Some of them are a little tacky, but for the most part, they're really good. Wish I could drop them in there faster. See, I would take my spoon in there and show you all that there's plenty of room in there, but I don't want to disturb the dough that I'm dropping right now. See if I can move these over a little bit. Oh yeah, there's still plenty of room in there. See, I've got it turned up on high right now, but I'm not going to leave it on high. I'm getting down to the last bit now. Michael's going to have a lot of dumplings. Drop it right there where it's really boiling. In the middle. Just trying to make a little room there. A little hole there. I think this is the hardest part. It's just standing here trying to get all of them dumped in. Like I said, it's a little time consuming when you do it this way. Alright, that one's stuck. Okay. Let's see. As I said, I'm really not stirring it. Now, I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to put the lid on it. Set the timer. It's probably going to be less than 10 minutes, but I'm going to put 10 minutes because it took me a while to get them in there. I'm going to keep an eye on them. And then, after 10 minutes, I'll probably take a spoon, taste the broth, and I'm going to put that chicken meat back in it. And Michael's going to come back home soon, and he's going to give you all a taste test. We'll be right back.
How you doing, YouTube? Your taste test chicken pot pie. One of my favorites. Perfect. Dumplings are tender, the chicken's good. Broth excellent. 2 thumbs up. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Come back and check out Momma Jo, all of Momma Jo's videos. Get you some more goodness. Thank you. Good night.